Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jael, for those of you that may not know, and today's video is going to be a brand new Black owned Monday video. Now obviously this is coming at you guys on a Tuesday, but this is still included in the Black owned Monday series because I owed you guys some Black owned Mondays from last month, and I'm just trying to make it up this month and still keep in flow with the videos I already have planned for my channel. I think that a lot of people of color, specifically Black people, can relate to this, but ever since this summer started, there have been a lot of protests and a lot of things going on that have just been very hard to deal with and very emotional and very emotionally draining. And I feel like it's so many Black people that I talk to relate to this, and that we've all kind of felt this sense of just like being overwhelmed, just fed up and tired and exhausted and angry that we're still having this fight, we're still having this issue. And as grateful that we are that so much is moving in the right direction finally, it's just exhausting. And last week when I was supposed to be filming and uploading the videos that didn't go up, another Black man was killed. And then a few days later, Chadwick Boseman died, and it felt like the wind was let out of my sails, and I just needed time to just breathe and take care of myself, because those things back to back just hit very hard. So we're here today and we're going to do a Black owned Monday video. I'm going to talk about a Black owned brand, and I also am going to talk about something else that I feel like I have touched on before, but I want to talk about a little bit more in depthly. So that is what we are going to be doing today. And today we are going to be taking a look at Ace Beauty. I honestly could not find too much information about them on their website, and there just wasn't as much backstory, so I can't give you guys the history in the way that I could with Pat McGrath, which is why I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about some other stuff, but I still just want to talk about Ace Beauty a little bit. So on their page, you guys can see a lot of beautiful looks that they have if you follow them over on Instagram. But if you go to their website, you find out about all of these amazing products that they have. They have a very large range of eyeshadow palettes. They have eyelashes, and they have, I think they even have like brushes. And I believe that they're starting to just dip their toes into the complexion world of makeup, because they very recently released blush and bronzing palettes. I actually have a blush palette. I'm going to show you guys. This is what the blush palette looks like. It is the Bronze in Paradise palette. Or sorry, it's the Blush in Paradise palette. The bronzer one is Bronze in Paradise. And they're just very pretty. But for me, I feel like this is normally a sign if a brand doesn't already have complexion products, that they're like dipping their toes into complexion products, because this is kind of like what completes the whole complexion thing. The blush, the bronzer, all the type of stuff. So I have a feeling that within the next few years we'll be seeing something from them. I would say probably within the next 1 to 2 years we'll see something from them involving complexion. I would not be surprised at all. So the deal with Ace Beauty is that they actually just recently updated their formula. So the formula on their newest palette, the Nostalgia palette, is a little bit different, which I'm actually very excited for them, because I was hoping that they would update their eyeshadow formula just a little bit. So excuse me also my words, just coming out my mouth a little weird today. So Ace Beauty, I'll just show you guys the inside of this palette, because I'm kind of all over the place already. This is the inside of the Quintessential eyeshadow palette. It's basically what it says, the quintessential shades you would need to complete a look. They have your mattes, they have some pops of color, they have a black. They kind of have like the basic shades with a few even cool tone shades in there. It just kind of mixes and matches everything together. So it's a really beautiful collection and selection of shadows. I will say that this palette does have some repeats from their Grandiose eyeshadow palette. The Grandiose eyeshadow palette is basically a smaller version of this, and that one does have 3 specific shades that are not included in this palette. The deal with Ace Beauty eyeshadow palettes is that they have beautiful, beautiful, beautiful creamy matte formulas. They blend so beautifully, they show up so well, they're pigmented, they're easy to work with. Their shimmers are where I find the inconsistencies. They have some shimmers that are kind of almost more like pressed pigments, leaning on like a very chunky glittery side, and those ones are just a little bit harder to kind of get the correct payoff with. The shimmers that are like these, like the shade Mandarin right here, they're a little bit more smooth and silky. They're kind of like a classic shimmer formula, and they have a little bit more of like a slip to them, but some of their other shimmers can just be a little crumbly, and they've updated the formula to make the shimmers more creamy and smooth and just have a little bit more slip, almost a little bit more emollient to them, a little bit more of an emollient aspect to them. So I think that's really great. All right, I'm gonna start off by taking this shade Nutmeg here and just popping this into my crease as a transitional shade. Okay, so the question becomes, you know, how do we add more support for Black-owned brands within the community? Like, how do we, as consumers, as YouTubers, as artists, whatever you identify as, how do we actively support more Black-owned brands? And I think that there are some obvious solutions to that, but there are also solutions that maybe people just, they don't want to hear the hard truths on, or they're not hearing the hard truths on. But I don't want to sugarcoat anything, so I'm just going to try and be obviously respectful, but as honest as possible about what I think needs to be done. So part of the issue is a lot of brands nowadays heavily rely on like influencers and YouTubers and makeup artists. Obviously, social media has really taken over in the way that people communicate and learn about different brands and things of that nature. So you obviously have a lot of brands heavily relying on that type of word of mouth type of promotion. Even if they go out and promote themselves, it really comes down to people going to other people that they trust and hearing about what they have to say about a certain brand. The issue becomes that you have so many people that they want to kind of be the new one that discovers something, and they will go out of their way sometimes to search for maybe brands they haven't heard before. You'll hear them asking like, tell me your favorite drugstore brands, or tell me this, or tell me that. I follow a few people on YouTube and I see them doing that all the time, where it's always like, tell me your favorite drugstore brand, tell me your favorite indie brand, tell me your favorite this and that. And every once in a while a Black-owned brand will kind of sneak in there, but more often than not it doesn't, and it's always kind of like the same brands that are talked about. And all those brands are great, but you see an active exclusion of a Black-owned drugstore brand, which is Black Opal. And Black Opal's price range falls right in line with a lot of the price ranges that I mentioned, because even e.l.f. is a little bit more expensive now than it used to be, and people just don't really pay attention. Now granted, Black Opal doesn't have as wide of a range as these other brands, but I really see that the people that recently repurchased the company are actively trying to expand their range and add more to it. So I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple years we see some eyeshadow palettes from Black Opal, and we see this and this and that, and they have a lot of potential, but they're just not really talked about and acknowledged in a way that they definitely deserve to be. Okay, I'm gonna take the shade Rosewood next. And it might not even be like a conscious exclusion, it could just be people subconsciously excluding these brands, but it's the fact that it's happening at all, and we're in the year 2020 and people still aren't, you know, thinking, what about this brand? It also comes into play, you know, when I did my Black Opal video. If you guys want to see that, I'll have that linked up above here. I talked about in my Black Opal video the fact that it was really hard for me to find Black Opal in my neighborhood. I had to go technically outside of my neighborhood to find it, and it was in this little dusty corner, like for real. You could tell that it wasn't given as much attention and as much thought as like the L'Oreals or the e.l.f.'s or the Joa Beauties. It was just one of those things where it's like, it was just so clearly ignored, and that's just kind of how Black-owned brands can be treated a lot of the time. And so we come to this kind of place where, you know, people are like, okay, I'm supporting Pat McGrath and I'm supporting Fenty Beauty. They're both Black-owned, so I'm doing it. And I'm like, but you're not, not quite. You're not quite there. You're missing the mark a little bit. Pat McGrath, we all know, is one of my favorite brands. I love Pat McGrath. I love Fenty. I think that they both deserve everything that they have. They both deserve even more. They're such fantastic brands, and they have done so much for just the makeup world in general, especially Pat McGrath, I mean, the mother of makeup. But we also have to address the fact that they're like the only Black-owned brands that are talked about and on such a large scale. Okay, I'm taking the same brush with nothing on it from when I put my crease shade down, and I'm just blending out the shadow of it. So you have these really stunning, beautiful Black-owned brands out here that people just don't really talk about that much. Even Beauty Bakery. Beauty Bakery is talked about, but not as much. Juvia's Place is a brand that's definitely talked about a lot, but you know, people don't talk about Oma Beauty as much as Juvia's Place. Oma Beauty is finally getting a little bit more of the pool that it deserves, but even Oma Beauty was kind of ignored for a while. And you just have a lot of these brands out here that deserve a lot more attention. So Ace Beauty is a brand that has been around for a while. I was introduced to them through BoxyCharm, and I have to say, I've had some issues with the way that BoxyCharm has operated in the past couple of months. I haven't liked some of the changes that they've made, but the reason that I stick to BoxyCharm is because BoxyCharm still is introducing me to indie brands, and BoxyCharm is one of the first like companies that I've seen actively try to promote Black owned brands. You know, I learned about Ace Beauty through BoxyCharm. There've been a few brands actually that they've had that are Black owned, and they didn't just do it as a fad or a trend. They did it because they wanted to. And it's also a minority owned company. It's Latin owned, but I think that is really speaking to like how easy it is to just adding more of this Rosewood shade, how easy it is to just actively support Black companies if you just go out of your way to try and do it. Again, like, how do we do this? How do we offer this support? Because not everybody can run out and spend money, and nobody should feel obligated to do that. So how do we support? We support by supporting these brands on social media. If we utilize social media, I am not the best at commenting on things. I will like things, but I'm really not the best at commenting on things. But I even have to myself be like, no, you actively need to comment on here. Give them some engagement. Let them know that you see them. Let them feel seen and heard. If you do subscribe to one of these subscription services, when they ask like every month, you know, what would you like to see in the box? Tag these brands. Look at these Black owned brands and say, hey, I would love to see this. You know, I might not be able to afford to purchase from them regularly, but if you can create a deal with them and get them out to a mass market of people, that'd be great. You know, there's different ways to support and offer your support that I don't even think we're totally privy to, that we don't think of, and people don't give us like the idea to do. But there are so many ways to get out there and just shout out these brands, you know. I think another big thing that we can do is to stop making it a fad. Like, supporting a Black owned brand, I love the fact that it trends, that people that have bigger platforms do call out more Black owned brands and do let people know, you know, these are brands that you guys should support. But the support shouldn't just be conditional. It shouldn't just be when there's a Black Lives Matter protest happening in your town. You should be supporting them even when there's not one. And I don't think that happens enough. Okay, I'm going to take the shade Berry, and I am just going to sweep this on the lid. I'm not going to spray my brush at first. I'm just going to let this kind of go and see what happens. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay. Yeah, this is the formula of their shadows that I really like. But like I said, sometimes it could be, in the past at least, very inconsistent across certain shadows that they had. And it looks like they're making them more like this formula, which I'm very happy about because this formula is the bomb. I am getting a little bit of fallout, but that's okay. Like, beautiful. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to take the shade Rosewood, and then I'm going to go in with the shade Neroli, this black shade, on the outer corner. But we're going to take Rosewood first. My thoughts on this and like what can be done. How do we solve this? How do we help each other to be a better beauty community? How do we support Black creators and all that stuff? Ooh, that is very black. I was not expecting that. All right. This is giving me fall vibes, and I'm living. Wow, this turned into a fall look, y'all. It already was, but it really turned into one right now. I love this. Okay. So what do we do now that we are at this space where we are supposed to be actively offering more support to our communities of color, to the Black folk that, you know, so many people have pledged to support and change, that you have all these brands saying we're going to be better, we're going to do better by Black content creators, by our Black consumers, by our Black people in our office. Like, what is the next step? And I think the next step, honestly, is just like staying engaged. I think that's like one of the biggest things that we can do right now is just stay engaged. I went to a protest, and at the protest, one of the organizers said, Black Lives Matter is not a spirit week. It is a fact, and it's a lifelong journey. And in order to make that known, we have to practice that mentality across different platforms. And I think that we need to hold people accountable that maybe do use moments like this as a fad or a trend and say like, hey, you made a video about, you know, Black-owned brands back when it was trending, but it's been like 6 months. You haven't talked about a single Black-owned brand that's not Fenty Beauty. Like, BREONNA, I'm sure, would love for you to talk about some other Black-owned brands because she supports Black people all day, every day. So do you want to try that? Like, there are different ways to do it. We don't have to be, you know, mean about it or anything. We can just say like, hey, I'm just pointing out I haven't seen this from you in a while. And hopefully people respond in kind to it. They might not, but we're at this point where we kind of can't be complacent as viewers or consumers anymore. Okay, I'm going to take the shade Rosewood again and blend out up top. That's kind of where my head is right now regarding this whole situation. I'm just kind of at the place where I'm like, I really want to see everybody succeed. Obviously, I'm always rooting for everybody that's Black because Black people just in this country, especially all over the world, but in this country especially, Black people are just not treated with the respect that we deserve. And it's really tiring and exhausting, and doing stuff like makeup doesn't seem that important. But if there's even one person that's watching this and it's like, you know what, this is giving me some insight to things I didn't think of before, then to me, it's worth it. Okay, so now we have this very like deep, sultry look that I wasn't even totally going for at first, but this is what we ended up with, and I'm happy with it. I am gonna wipe off my brush just a little bit because I do want to go in with the shade Nutmeg again, and I just want to lighten up the edges just a teensy bit so that it's not like too much, you know, like back here. I want to just lighten that up just a tad. Alright, guys, so I'm just going to finish up my eyes off camera and then I will be right back. Alright, you guys, and this is your completed look. I am in love. I feel so beautiful right now. I'm kind of rocking like an 80s hairstyle as well, which is very fitting because I'm watching Sister Sister. It's on Netflix. Even though that was a 90s show, they still kind of had like the 80s into 90s vibe. But yeah, I'm just feeling my oats right now and I'm loving this whole vibe. This video was honestly so cathartic for me. It was so great to kind of just share my thoughts, even though it took me quite a while to get them out and I jumbled a few of my words. But thank you guys for hanging out with me and having this conversation with me. Please let me know your thoughts down below of things that you think we could definitely do to help our community move forward and support more Black-owned brands and Black creators in this industry, in this world that we're a part of. I want to say to everybody that is feeling a lot of heaviness right now from what's going on that we're going to get through it. It's going to be okay. And especially to all of my Black brothers and sisters out there, I know that it felt like the wind was let out of our sails this past weekend, but take care of yourselves, take a deep breath, remember who you are. We're going to get through this. We're going to be all right. Yeah. I love Ace Beauty. This palette is absolutely stunning. I'm in love with this eyeshadow look. I'm going to wear this again. I just had so much fun creating this and I can't wait to, I just feel so much rejuvenation and so excited to sit down and film again, which I haven't felt in a minute. So I'm really, really grateful and just glad to be here doing this. This is just therapy for me. So thank you all. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up, comment down below, and let me know what else you would like to see on this channel. As well, as I said before, please engage in this conversation and let me know your thoughts about, you know, ways we can move forward as a community, what you think you need to see from other content creators on this platform. I'm so interested in continuing this conversation. If you guys have any Black-owned brands or just brands in general that you want me to check out, but I would really love to know about Black-owned brands that you guys really are interested in seeing. I have one request already that is coming up. I have to get some more products so I can give the video the level of depth that it deserves. But I do have some on my docket already, but please continue to suggest, because I take the suggestions with me and add them into the list of, you know, brands I'm going to talk about. And yeah, if you guys are ever wondering how you guys can get engaged, I have some really important links down below, linking to things for Breonna Taylor, Elijah McClain, Color of Change, all these great links that are going to help you guys find how you guys can get involved, whether it's from social media, from your home, if you want to donate, whatever it is, all those things will be linked down below. I will have a full list of products that I use linked down below as well, which I always do in my videos, so don't ever worry about that. I will always make sure that you guys have some way to find what I'm wearing. And yeah. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry if this video was a little bit more low energy, but I feel like it was kind of just like a cozy fireside chat feel. So that's what we did. I will see you all in my very next video, which I'm very excited about. It's going to be coming out much sooner than you may realize. Please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, comment down below. Again, please comment. I just want to have a conversation with you guys, so please comment. Make sure to share this video with anybody that might be interested. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload, and subscribe to my channel, because, you know, that would mean a lot, and you can join this beautiful community that we're building over here, and we can all just lift each other up in so much love and light, and it would be amazing. All right, you guys, so thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you very, very soon. My hair a little crazy in the back, it's fine. We're good. I'll see you guys very, very soon in my next one. Bye, my loves.
Say my name until the city burns and the stars fade away and your scars don't hurt. Stay with me until the last